time for some speculation, right? Are we doing some big speculative stuff? So last week, basically, Trump has done like no press conferences. And if you know anything about the big man himself, dude loves his fucking press conferences. He loves talking to the media. He loves the adulation, the attentions, the ratings, blah 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 blah. I mean, he's a TV president, reality TV show a star and shit like that. You know, he likes to market himself, yada yada yada. And I mean, it serves a double purpose, right? Allows him to get out ahead in front of stories, put up his own fucking narrative, control the sort of like narrative for himself. But he's been, well, MIA basically for the past 6 days, which is a little interesting. Has it been 6 days? Was it 7 days? Ah, semantics. Who cares? And there's been a lot of interesting photos that have been coming out. You know, a lot of like bruises on the fucking hands, a lot of fucking health scare stuff, a lot of sussy shit, right? So we know he's like almost 80 years old. And we've also talked about this before. Dude's brain is leaking out of his ears more than usual. He's been having a lot more difficult times stringing together like coherent thoughts, messages, ideas, and stuff like that. He's been having more and more trouble with it. Makes sense. He's getting old. And also, the stress of the fucking job is more than likely, I think, also getting to him. That's what I think as well. And the fact that basically everything he does has a disapproval rating. The tariffs, he's underwater there. He's underwater in the economy, underwater in terms of immigration. The only issue that he is slightly positive on is just the southern border. In terms of every other issue, Trump is currently underwater on. And he, broadly speaking, he knows. Like, why do you think he's trying to call up, like, a bunch of different Republican state houses and say, like, okay, guys, you know what we have to do? We need to do a little bit of cheating. We gotta cheat a little bit, folks. You know, we gotta have some, gerrymandering be done in order to get some more seats for the Republican Party. Because he would not be calling for that unless there was something, I don't know, like some potential internal polling or something saying that he's going to get his ass destroyed during the midterms. Which, you know, we can talk about how much that's going to materialize exactly. It's not like the Democrats are really making any positive arguments for themselves, especially with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries saying like, the Baileys are telling me to do nothing, so we're just gonna keep doing nothing. The Baileys said that do nothing, so I'm not doing anything. So it's just like, great, fantastic that this is the current leadership of the opposition that is in power, and this is what they're saying, that you shouldn't fucking do anything. So that's great, fantastic. We'll get to the thread eventually, but here's a picture of him in the Beast. He's not looking great. Trump file, whatever the fuck this is. Photo posted by Trump team today appears to have been edited with an app such as Face App to give him an artificial smile. Also, zoom in on the facial expressions of the folks in the background. Yeah, they seem to be kind of concerned, you know? Like, this is not... I'm going to tell you right now, so we can zoom in. Those faces do not inspire confidence. Why are they looking like that? I'm not, like listen. What we're doing here is it's highly fucking speculative, all right? Like, this, we're just kind of, like, shooting the shit here. These do not look like the faces of people who seem to be very positive about what is potentially going on here with the president. You know, they seem to be like, I don't know, guys, I don't know. Also, like, this man's smile. I don't, like, has he fucking had that big of a smile before? Like, recently? I don't think so. Like, nah. I don't think so. And, like, with, like, images and shit like this, bro looks like he's fucking hobbling along. He does not look good. Like, simply put. Like, even with when he's, like, talking at all. Like, he slurs his speech constantly. He has trouble talking. There's, like, videos of him when you see him walk. It looks like he's fucking limping, like, with his right leg. Like, he's having health problems. And similar to how the Democrats were hiding Biden's fucking health problems, it's time for the Republicans to start doing the same. Start to hide the health problems of Trump. So, we got this big-ass thread here. I'm probably not going to look through the entire thing, but what do we have here? Growing evidence that the White House is covering up the fact that Trump has been dealing with TIA strokes. Interesting. He's likely had a more significant ischematic stroke this week. So with the facts, TAs are temporary blockages. You'll see symptoms like leg dragging, eye drooping, but they resolve within 24 hours. He has been dragging his leg a lot more, right? Like, what? Trump dragging his leg. I mean, we know he's been struggling in terms of like walking a straight line with specifically when he was meeting Vladimir Putin, like on the red carpet. Like he was not able to sort of he was like not able to even like walk in like a straight line, but he's struggling to walk. Let's see.
Social media is buzzing Vance Golf Club in Palm Beach, Florida. Video shows visit his golf cart at the Mar-a-Lago Golf Club in Palm Beach, Florida. As he steps out, one of his legs appears to drag slightly, raising questions about his mobility and overall health. As the clip spreads like wildfire on X, formerly known as Twitter, speculations is running high. Users are asking, what's wrong with Donald Trump's legs? Some even go as far as to suggest.
I mean, we've seen him with like a catheter before, right? Like when he was at that one UFC match, he had like a basically kind of like some kind of device on his like left leg with people saying like, oh, it's more than likely some kind of a catheter or some shit, right? Like, and because it's like, listen, you can make like the meme, do the meme. It's like, oh, it's his cock, dude. He has just like a giant, like, he's got like a third leg like a cock. It's like, nah, bro, that was a fucking catheter. Okay, get the fuck out of here. It's just like, nah, get out of here with that bullshit. He had a fucking catheter on because like I can only assume in his old age he probably goes to the bathroom a lot more often, right? Like, makes sense. It probably doesn't want to go to the bathroom constantly during the UFC match. Might be difficult for him to do that, especially considering he's been having more mobility issues, right?
Just he may have an underlying medical condition. And this isn't the first time concerns over Trump's health have made headlines. Just days ago, photos of his bruised hands during a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron.
Well, that's more than likely from an IV, probably, right? Maybe, could be from an IV, could be some other shit as well. You never really know. That's just like kind of normal with like old man stuff. I was mostly just trying to get like you kind of saw him when he was getting off the golf cart. He was hobbling along a little bit. Didn't look great. March 2024. Here's the video as well. Here's another one. This is probably more better. Notes that Trump has been dragging his right leg for a while. It seems like we've seen him on and off. Take a better look at that. He does his jerk off dance. Trying to get a good look at this. Yeah, he just does not look great. I don't know, man. Like, super highly speculative in, you know, that we're doing here. Super highly speculative. He's just not looking good, man. Like, he's old. He's probably stressed. It's like, bro's just looking way worse. Time magazine interview from right after the election. We see a first note of Trump's hand bruising. Once again, something people didn't seem to think much of the time. Comes up again during the Macron visit because he's been shaking too many hands. I highly doubt that that's shaking too many hands. You get bruises on your hands from fucking shaking way too many of them. No fucking shot, bro. Next medical event we see is the Trump's annual physical report. Comparing the medication list to his old reports, we noticed 3 new medications. Daily aspirin for what? Cardiac prevention. As a timibi, cholesterol control. And rosustatin for more cholesterol control. Okay, interesting. At first I thought this may be normal medication for managing cholesterol, and I've certainly heard of preventative aspirin use in the past, but I've decided to interview some heart specialists, and I'm glad I did. There are 2 general takeaways I heard from multiple specialists. Daily aspirin is not recommended for prevention anymore, and aspirin regime is treating something. Interesting. So if experts are saying, like, yeah, you're not taking aspirin every day for just, like, no reason. They're, like, because aspirin's a fucking painkiller, right? You don't just take that shit every day. There's got to be something wrong. Like, you're not just like, opening up your fucking daily aspirin pill bottle and just popping a couple pills because you just want to pop some. It's like, that's a little fucking weird. Interesting. Ezetimibe is the second line medication not used for regular LDL treatment. LDL. Let me just double check. I'm not sure what that acronym means. It's called low density lipoprotein. Okay. Referred to as bad cholesterol. Gotcha. Okay. Statins like rosuvastatin, whatever, will manage cholesterol alone, whereas ezetimibe will be used as a second line if the patient is at a high enough cardiovascular risk, such as prior strokes, heart attacks, or arterial disease. And that makes a lot of sense that this speculation is being done here, right? Like, bro eats McDonald's constantly. McDonald's, not great for the heart, dude. Especially at that age. Now, I don't know how often he's been going to McDonald's, but I mean, we've known the fucking images from not that long ago, like a couple years ago, of him doing the photo op with the fucking giant plate of McDonald's all over the place, right? We know about that. And if he keeps consuming fucking McDonald's, especially at the age that he's at, that's not a good sign. That's not a good look, dude. Like, it's like, Trump, you sure you're gonna be okay? You may have some fucking issues with eating all of that fucking McDonald's, my dude. Trump's previous medical records claim his cardiovascular health is great and is on the statin, so he shouldn't need ezetimibe. But that also brings us to the aspirin. As it turns out, aspirin hasn't been advised as a daily course prevention method for quite a while. Daily aspirin is no longer recommended to prevent heart disease. When was this article written? I'm curious. Let's see if I can find it. Daily aspirin. Let me see what the name. No longer recommended to prevent heart disease. No longer recommended to prevent heart disease. When was this done? 2022? Not that long ago. But about 3 years ago? It's not that long ago. Not a crazy amount ago. But yeah, 3 years ago. So yeah, that seems a little suspicious, considering the fact that, doctors keep up with constant treatment, with all the new daily treatments, constantly, because that's kind of their job. That's what they have to do. Makes sense why it seems a little suspicious, again, that he's getting some daily aspirin. It's a little weird, Some old doctors may still incorrectly prescribe it as such, but qualified medical staff who keep it with literature wouldn't. A daily aspirin dose is now used as a blood thinner for specific lines of treatment, including in managing ischemic strokes. Interesting. Well, I mean, to be fair, it may not be old doctors that he has. It could also just be crank doctors, right? Like, just complete, utter psychos. We've seen, like, the sycophants that he's had before as, like, surgeon generals and, like, weirdo anti-vax conspiracy theorists that he's also peddled as, like, part of medical staff as well. It could also be possible that those people could be within the president's fucking sort of health retinue, I guess is the proper term here. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, that could also be fucking possible. In June, you see the fucking cankles. You've got CVI, his bruising related to aspirin regime and shaking hands. They keep coming back to this claim as aspirin does indeed make bruising easier. 3 problems with this claim. Bruising is seen on both hands, not just his dominant hand. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah. He shakes with his right hand, right? So why is he getting bruising on the left? Is he also getting an IV also in the left? Right? Also within the left hand? That's a little interesting. A little interesting that there's also bruising going on there. Next problem, CVI is not a sudden onset issue, and swollen ankles is an intermediate symptom. An annual physical visit in April would have sought CVI back then if ankles were going to be sweating, and aspirin isn't a CVI treatment. Interesting. Let me just double check what CVI is. Chronic venous insufficiency. Right. This is one of the things that has been talked about before, right? It's a circulation issue, right? So a circulatory problem where veins can't properly return blood to the heart, causing pooling and leg issues. Very, very fucking interesting. So, he basically his blood's having circulation issues, which again can very, very much so correlate to heart problems as well. Could be the heart is not pumping blood as well. Could be because of some kind of disease within the heart. It could be a whole bunch of different things, right? Venous insufficiency causes bruises in the extremities. That's a good point there, Alex. Yeah, could be reason that why he's getting a bunch of bruising there. His heart's just not pumping blood as it used to, right? Third, some of the bruising is monthly, usually around the 24th. Check the dates. It seems more likely that the president is being monitored monthly for something, and then occasionally getting an emergency IV as well. That's true. Here's the famous walking on the red carpet moment. Yeah, where he's just not able to walk in a straight line. If the carpet wasn't there, I don't think this would be really, really bad, right? The fact that the carpet's there just makes this way, way worse. Likelihood of stroke too. That's exactly what this thread is saying here, Alex. I think it's entirely possible that bro's just been having. He probably had a stroke, right? May have had a stroke at some point. Maybe why he's having a harder time getting coherent thoughts out as well. Like that's like a lot likely cause, right? Like it's not ridiculous to say. Patients who experience very mild strokes that are not TIA, such as a lancular stroke, or minor ischemic stroke, not ischemic, Jesus Christ, ischemic stroke, may have persistent but barely noticeable symptoms, causing drooping of the lip, eyelid, and brow, which would be on the same side of a leg dragging symptom. I'm detecting a lot of different things. You know, a lot of different stuff that's correlating to particular things, saying like, he's either had a fucking stroke, or that he's having a lot of circulatory problems because of heart issues that he's having because of all the McDonald's he's fucking eating, which I don't think is like ridiculous, right? If a patient under White House level medical staff care was seen having a stroke, they'd be scanned to rule out a hemorrhagic with the White House portable MRI. Dude, the White House just has a fucking MRI. I mean, I guess it makes sense. A lot of old people tend to be president, right? And then could receive alteplase. I can't pronounce these fucking words, man. A clot-busting peripheral IV, often given in the hand or for elderly patients. If that patient was on aspirin for cardio risk management and or potential calcium blockers, we'd expect bruising of the hands and swelling of the ankles, which has been so far consistent. Interesting. If they had a mild ischemic stroke, we'd expect the patient to be on bed rest for 24 to 48 hours, by 2 to 3 days able to take small or assisted steps, and the patient may have facial droop, flatter facial creases on or their mouth agape due to a facial muscle weakness. That is not a very flattering photo. Yeah, bro's mouth is agape. Kind of hard to see what's going on with the eyes, but he is keeping them closed, right? Like, closed like this. I don't know. Like, I'm not, like, the vibe that I'm getting here is I think he had a fucking stroke, man. He had to, like, everything is pointing to the fact that he had a stroke. It's either that or he's having heart circulation problems. It's one of the two at this point. Even though they could walk this time, speech and complex motor skills may still be recovering. And we notice Trump has oddly kept the press pool very far back from the White House and hasn't allowed them on the golf course. Exactly, like, for the past 6 days, the very least, if not about a week, like, he's not been speaking at all to the press corps. Most of the people that are going around speaking have been JD Vance. JD Vance has been currently making the media sort of press tour, right, on all the, like, more liberal shows. I don't know. It's looking kind of sus, and we know how much this dude loves to be in front of a fucking camera. He loves being in front of a camera. We also noticed that he was dressed the same as the last time we went golfing with Kai. The fuck's Kai? Like Trump? Kai Trump? Kai Trump and her grandma? grandfather. We played golf together. Oh, okay, cool. And that MAGA influencers were given an old picture to circulate from January and his other golfing picture from July 27th. Yeah, there's been like some threads of like even old pictures from 2019 also being circulated. And it's just like, well, that's a little fucking weird that this is the stuff that the White House is putting out. They're trying to fucking hide something, man. They're trying to hide something. Those same influencers were circulating a video of him in the same outfit, but that one came from June 29th this year. Public playing golf. Before playing golf, Flying leads to spelling rumors of his death. The video of Trump turned out to be old. The health of the president is still unknown. The video was posted on June 29th. Interesting. Next picture of him from today, from afar with continued face droop. He once again spoke with no reporters before going golfing. And both times, reporters were confined to the tennis court out of view of his course instead of letting them take pictures like normal. Dude, they have to be fucking hiding something, right? None of this is gets into the other weird events this week of Vance being ready to take over, or his social posts seeming like they were written by interns. Yeah, his Truth Social stuff has been kind of weird, right? Like, you can tell when the man is just not it. That's a post from Fox News. As President of the United States, I am pleased to announce that Rudy Giuliani, the greatest mayor in the history of New York City, and an equally great American patriot, will receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, our country's highest civilian honor. Details as to time and place to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. This is not a fucking Trump post. Guaranteed. Interns definitely fucking put this shit together. That's not a fucking Trump post. Trump would never fucking say this stuff like that. Not fucking schizo enough. This looks more like a fucking Trump post to me. Right? Lots of random capitalizations. Lots of fucking random bullshit. Right? This looks more like... That looks more like a fucking Trump post to me. This one... Some people ponder. Oil military products. Talk about India. This probably, I think, also looks more like a fucking Trump post. Anyway, why don't we take a quick look at that JD Vance interview, right? JD Vance saying he wants to take over. Ready to take over from Trump? I want the full interview. Can we get the clip? Says he's ready to take over. Not for the article. I want the videos, please. This one. Right here.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for sitting down today with USA Today. And we'll be discussing the first 200 days of your vice presidency and your plans for the fall. But first, I do want to get your response to some breaking news and current events, including President Donald Trump's attempt to fire Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors. He says it's over alleged...
Lisa Cook stuff.
Isn't it a little preposterous to say that the President of the United States, the elected President of the United States, working, of course, in concert with Congress...
Again, like, in terms of the Lisa Cook stuff, there's no jurisdiction that he has to try to fucking fire her. It's pure politics. And this guy is just going to... Well, let's be honest here. He's just going to fucking defend that because, again, he probably senses that Trump is on the way out, and he wants to be, obviously, the guy to try to take over. But, again, JD Vance, like, the base doesn't really like him all that much. Trump himself has also said that JD Vance, if Trump were to hypothetically die, hypothetically speaking, that JD Vance is not the one who's going to take over.
Congress doesn't have the American people, that the democratic decision-making process has...
Also, like, he doesn't have the sauce, dude. He's too much of a fucking nerd emoji. He's too fucking nerdy, you know? Just not interesting. Like, he's good to send on all the liberal media outlets, right? Where he's not going to be as crass and crude as Trump is and idiotic as Trump is. He knows how to handle the fucking liberal media better. But with, like, Trump supporters, I don't think so, dude.
No influence over monetary policy. That's really, really, I think, an anti-democratic principle.
John Bolton, John Brennan, James Comey.
Constitutional republic. So no, the president has been willing, frankly, to pardon people from the other side of the political aisle. In my hometown, Cincinnati, PG
Oh,
was prosecuted by the last
1000%
Department of Justice. The president issued that pardon. He's sort of a famous Democratic official. This is not about politics. This is about the law. And if the president thinks, I mean, look, we don't want to go in where we're unwelcome. There's a political reason, because what might very well happen is that these people, mayors or local governors, stand up and say, we don't want the National Guard. This is a dictatorship. Trump is because there's a crazy person screaming at you on the street corner. We should have some basic level of comfort and security on our streets.
Okay, he's justifying military occupation, of course.
I think you have to have to make that determination based on the local crime rates, what's happening with murder, what's happening with armed robberies, what's happening with carjacking.
By the way, in every single major Democratic city, crime rate is down. So again, complete fucking nonsense.
I mean, we don't want indefinitely. Yesterday, there were a couple of journalists who talked about being mugged on the streets of Washington, D.C. and they have to release the credible information. And I think you saw Todd Blanche just a couple of days ago actually released the 9-hour transcript of an interview that he did with Ghislaine Maxwell. What the president has
We're
also
doing
said
Epstein
is that
file
we
shit
can focus on. You can both
that he's just going to try to deflect from, basically.
His Department of Justice to release whatever information that we can, and also to go further. That's true in a lot of other issues as well. That's why the president blow up in the Oval Office in public, not necessarily. But do I think that it actually elucidated some of the real issues of disagreement between the United States side and the Ukraine side? Yes, and I think that was useful for the American people to see. And I think we'll continue to have these.
No, you made yourself look like a complete idiot when you blew up in front of Zelensky, like just a complete out of touch moron who barely understands the dynamics or the history of the fucking conflict. Yada yada yada.
And that was always what frustrated me. Far more than Zelensky was asking for help from Washington, it was that the Biden administration had no plan for how to end the war, no real credible theory for how giving another $100 billion would solve the problem, and it just felt like this weird money pit where we'd throw money after the problem without any real plan to.
Again, JD Vance doesn't know what he's fucking talking about here. In particular, the point of giving the Ukrainians as many weapons as fucking possible is to have as leverage to have an armed, well-trained military so that the Russians don't invade again. That's the point.
Fine. And what if the GOP doesn't end up netting any seats at all because of Governor Newsom?
Well, I've talked to Governor DeSantis about it. I think he's doing a good job. He's doing the right thing in Florida, not just on the redistricting question.
Gerrymandering
The president have now rebranded the One Big Beautiful Bill because, as he admitted, Americans just aren't buying it. How is changing the name going to convince the roughly 10 million Americans who will be losing health care as a result of this?
Well, what the president said yesterday is One Big Beautiful Bill is a great name for it when it's a bill, but now it's law. And now we have to actually explain to the American people, we've got to do the job of politics and actually talk to the American people what's in the bill. And the reality is,
everyone disapproves of the One Big Beautiful Bill. Nobody fucking likes that shit.
it's the biggest working families tax cut in a generation. It increases the child tax credit. It eliminates taxes on tips. I know a lot of folks who depended on tips.
It doesn't.
When I was growing up, a lot of single moms who waited tables who are now going to get a big tax.
He's not going to mention about how $1.1 trillion is being cut from SNAP and Medicaid, as well as the pay-go function within Medicare also being triggered. So there's going to be cuts there as well because this bill is not fiscally solvent.
Tax cut because of this legislation, while simultaneously punishing people for building businesses overseas. We want to invest in businesses. So I don't think it's you asked about the healthcare question. So if you actually look at what we've done on rural healthcare, we inherited a country where the rural healthcare system in this country.
Rural hospitals are currently closing right now in anticipation of the cuts that are not in place yet. They will be in place after the midterms. But rural hospitals are currently closing in anticipation of the cuts to Medicaid.
Who's completely falling, and you're in this country illegally. I don't like get on the job training for the last 200.
Your boss is one of the oldest people ever be sworn into office. You're one of the youngest people ever be second in line. Are you ready to assume the role of commander-in-chief? And why should Americans trust you to lead the country?
Well, I've got to like get on the job training for the last 200 days, but also say that the president is in incredibly good health. He's got incredible energy, and while most of the people who work around the president
of the United States, is he looking in good health? I don't know. Pictures say otherwise, my man.
States are younger than he is. I think that we find that he actually is the last person who goes to sleep. He's the last person making phone calls at night, and he's the first person who wakes up and the first person making phone calls in the morning.
Oh,
so,
I'm sure.
Yes, things can always happen. Yes, terrible tragedies happen, but I feel very confident the President of the United States is in good shape, is going to serve out the remainder of his term and do great things for the American people. And if, God forbid, there's a terrible tragedy, I can't think of better on-the-job training than what I've gotten over the last 200 days.
What does Usha think about you running for president in 2028?
I think she thinks what I think, which is let's focus on the job that we have right now. Let's do as good a job.
I'm saying, if he were to be the main guy who takes over after Trump, it's going to be a complete, utter collapse of the fucking sort of MAGA movement or whatever. Like, it's not going to work, man. Like, people are just not buying what JD has to sell. Like, he's incredibly nerdy. He's uninteresting. Like, he's like a whiner. People don't like him. The reason why Trump is as successful as he is politically is simply just due to the fact that he's got way more fucking riz. He's a character. People like him because he's like the funny man they see on TV, the reality TV show host that like owns the libs in their minds by making them so consistently mad. That's why. And JD Vance he doesn't have that same kind of sauce. He's like incredibly nerdy, a fucking weirdo. He's like a loser. Like, it's not gonna work as well as these people think it is. I'll be honest.
Job as possible, and if that door opens later on, we'll figure it out then.
Well, you have young children. You talked about the privacy that the Naval Observatory affords.
Don't think there's really much else to look at that. But yeah, he says he's ready to fucking take over. So it's just like, a little sus. Well, even though, like, let's be honest here, Vance hasn't really been doing much of anything. The real shadow president is fucking Stephen Miller. Like, what's going on with, like, ICE Gestapo attacks and shit like that, the military occupations that are going on specifically in D.C., and the one that happened in L.A., that was all fucking Stephen Miller. That's all him. I don't know about that. Vivek is a similar kind of loser, and he's polling higher than the Democratic opposition for Ohio governor. I don't know, dude. Like, the thing with Ohio is that it's just completely, utterly blasted fucking wasteland. I I don't think JD Vance has more of like a sort of prominent reach, right? And sort of like a more larger microphone in comparison to Vivek Ramaswamy. Like Vivek Ramaswamy, like who the fuck cares about what anything he has to say? Like no one is like really hardcore listening to him, but like JD Vance has a lot more national attention, and I don't think like people are really buying what he's selling. Vance was president, the admin would get far more pushback. They know Vance doesn't have the same kind of hold over the base of the party nor the Republican Congress. That's true. Again, like if Vance were to take over, people would probably not care as much. Like I don't think so. Under normal administration, a president having repeated TIAs wouldn't be removed from office, but even a moderate Semitic is likely to impact mental faculties and merit the 25th Amendment being invoked. Vance and Miller know that their federal power consolidation requires continued implementation leading up to the midterms. What's 1,000%? That's Project 2025 in a nutshell. Trump's own ego will mean he never lets go willingly. 1,000%. So unless the White House can provide a transparent explanation of his health that fits these circumstances, which so far they've not really done that. They say that he's been shaking a bunch of fucking hands, and that's why he's getting bruising. Why is he getting bruising in his fucking left hand? That's not passing the smell test. I'm forced to conclude that they are lying to the American people and hiding that Trump had a stroke. It's time for the press to push on this and get clarity. It's, of course, highly fucking speculative here that's going on. But, like, I mean, we can take a guess, right? Like, there's definitely some tough shit going on with the, obviously, the swollen ankles, the bruising on the hands. He is seemingly having slurred speech. He's having a lot harder times getting around with his motor skills. Like, there's a lot of stuff that seemingly indicates that he's got a lot of issues, lots and lots of problems, right? Like stuff that could be related to heart disease, stuff that could be related to a stroke. So it's not like ridiculous or hyperbolic to say that something's going on. He's having some health issues. And he's been having a harder time. He's been struggling more and more with a lot of like his motor skills and functions. So I don't know, like I don't think it's like crazy to say that could he have had a stroke? I think it's entirely possible. I don't think it's ridiculous to say that he's had a stroke and that he's having a lot more issues with his motor skills, his abilities, and he's having even more issues. And JD Vance commenting on stuff like that, well, it's not looking good for our man's health. Of course, it's pure speculation. Who knows? Maybe some like miracle happens or something. But honestly, like, I don't fucking think so. Like, I think like he's also having the exact same like cognitive mental decline issues as Joe Biden is having as well, and it makes sense. He's 79 years old. He's really fucking old. Makes sense, right? Like it's that about that time of the year, not year, about that fucking time in terms of his age bracket where he's gonna have a lot more fucking health problems. He's gonna start to naturally fucking deteriorate. That's not ridiculous or hyperbolic to say. To whatever extent it is, that can just certainly still just continue to be speculated on. But yeah, I don't think there's really much else to say besides, yeah, I think Trump may be having some potential health issues. I don't think it's crazy to say.